This portion will focus on Part 2 commentary of the STA and edTPA. Notice your STA deadlines. The Task 2 video and commentary are due October 12th. In TaskStream, you can find the Task 2 commentary instructions. Notice again there are 3 sections that you will need to be speaking to. The first section is where you will state which lesson will be shown in your video clips. Be sure you identify the lesson number, clip number, and activities that will be observed. Number 2 is engaging the learning environment and deepening student learning. Make sure you are using key terms that are used in the questions that are asked of you. Again, you need to identify the lesson number, clip number, and timestamps throughout your responses. Be sure your learning tasks and planned supports are aligned with your central focus. Also, all of your clips must be consistent and aligned with your Task 1 commentary responses you've already given. Again, the rubric can be found in TaskStream. A few key points that should be addressed are that your lessons are student-centered, there is student interaction and engagement, that students should be deeply and actively involved in their learning. Learning should be both independent and collaborative. There should be questioning to promote inquiry with your students and learning. You should justify all of your modifications and point out what they are for individual specific needs and the class as a whole. And lastly, of course, your commentary should be supported by research and theory. The edTPA. Again, this is a much more detailed response than you will need to provide for your STA. The bottom part of is your commentary specifications. Notice this time your commentary should be no more than 6 pages, including the prompts. However, you can provide 2 additional pages of supporting information if necessary. Here are the instructions for the edTPA Task 2 commentary. Again, you need to identify your lesson or lessons that are going to be shown in your video clips. Not only should you identify them by number, but again, include the activities that the viewer will be seeing. Promoting a positive learning environment. Notice 2A, it says, how do you demonstrate mutual respect for, rapport with, and responsiveness to students with varied needs and backgrounds and challenge students to engage in learning? These key words are terms that you are going to want to use in your commentary. So be sure that you use them. Also, you're going to want to reference the rubric verbiage to help you as well. Number 3, engaging students in learning. Explain how your instruction engaged students in, and you can see this particular edTPA handbook was from the social studies. Here are the same types of questions, but on the left would be from the math edTPA handbook. So you can see that the language is geared toward mathematics. And on the right would be the same question, but out of the English edTPA handbook. So again, use this edTPA lingo, if you will, within your responses. So math. You should be addressing the bullet points. You should be talking about conceptual understandings and so on. Same thing with the English. It is important to be consistent with your language for your subject matter throughout. And again, so deepening student learning during instruction. So overall, the questions that you will have to speak to are the same. Again, pay extra attention to the colored boxes where you need to discuss how you are supporting your students with IEPs, 504 plans, if you have any English language learners, struggling readers, your gifted students, or whatnot. How will you be assessed in the Task 2 commentary for edTPA? Here you will want to refer to Rubric 6 through 10. Rubric 6 deals with the learning environment. You want to demonstrate a positive rapport with your students, again, using the words of mutual respect. You should create a positive, low-risk learning environment while challenging your students. Rubric 7 deals with engaging students in learning. You are going to want to be sure that it revolves around your central focus, that you link and you develop your students' prior academic knowledge and skills to build and support arguments and conclusions, and of course apply the students' personal, cultural, or community assets to new learning. Deepening student learning is Rubric 8. It's important that the viewer can see the interactions among your students to help develop their abilities, skills, and even evaluate their own learning. It is important that there is engagement both with themselves in the learning and with others. Rubric 9, Subject-Specific Pedagogy. Again, you're going to want to go through and use your particular discipline's language in all of these commentaries that you'll be assessed on. And Rubric 10, Analyzing Teaching Effectiveness. You will want to reflect on your lesson, and I suggest including commentary as to what you could do better or change for next time. So glow comments. What do you think really worked within your lesson? And next time comments. What feedback would you give yourself and that you would speak to that you think would help your lesson in the future? Again, be sure you link it to research and theory. Here's a sample response. This is one of 6 or 7 paragraphs within this one question of the Task 2 commentary. But a couple of things I want to point out again. Notice, highlighted in yellow, she uses language that is from the edTPA question itself. I believe this is from question 3. And then she provides in green examples of how she promoted a positive learning environment. For example, something as simple as using student names, referring back, building on their ideas, prompting classmates to help classmates. Also, don't ignore any disruptive languages or classroom management issues. If there is a student who perhaps is off task or not engaged, speak to that as well with timestamps. Notice about halfway down it says, when I did have to prompt a student to self-regulate his behavior after he made some disruptive comments, I did so with a smile and said please and thank you. Again, down in the green, I prompted them to participate respectfully in a friendly but firm manner. I also encouraged students to be respectful and courteous towards each other. And even at the bottom, when 2 students made an off-color jokes in lesson 2 that's time-stamped, I asked them to be respectful in a friendly but firm manner. On a side note, when I called on a student by name at 3:32, who was the first name as the student sitting behind her, I used her last name to direct my question. Notice she muted the audio of the last name to protect confidentiality. This sums up your Task 2 commentary, and we look forward to answering any questions you have in our next part.